Um, Good morning, afternoon, and evening for me. Just want to make a audio of audio recording to actually just announce announcements. With what's going to happen with this YouTube channel, and basically just after that, after those announcements, just a commentating on recently what's happened in the past month or two with the riots in London and in the trouble situation Libya. Let me just start with the announcements. With the Inward Revolution 87 YouTube channel, I'm gonna actually have a new segment up. It's gonna be every single week. It's gonna be a series basically called Alternative History 101. And basically, Alternative History 101 is just a breakdown of history in the past, in thousands of years. And we'll break down evidence with lots of researchers from the past, giving the conclusions and the analysis and piecing all these truth together because it's very important before any future solutions can be done. We need to know where we came from and how deep the conditions how deep the condition we have been in the past. It's not a very nice feeling. I think a lot of people in the alternative research movement know the basic history of our conditioning, our ancient history. I go back as soon as thousands of years of conditioning, as I mentioned already. So it's very important to know where you are, how conditioned we are, to actually break out of that conditioning. Because if you don't know where the conditioning has come from, you're not able to tackle it adequately. From that, and there's another second announcement I'd like to make, and it's called the next week. I'm actually going to announce this and actually really break down what it's all about. But it's going to be a second launch of a series called well, it's not a series. It's called like a big massive project that will lead into a documentary and build it up from there. Basically, it's called the Freedom Land Project. Let me repeat that again. It's called the Freedom Land Project. Basically, what it's all about really is just basically the basic premise of it is just learning to get some people together and maybe buying some land, and from there just breaking out sovereignty out of the country, so superseding from the UK and basically just build a basic economy, build our own hospitals, build our own peace officers, and just basically build our own structure, even use our own current, our own interest-free currency. So it'll be money that's made industry-free for the people, really. So that's really an exciting project that will take many years. I estimate it'll take 10 years to do. I'd just like to make that announcement. So over time, hopefully by the end of by sometimes next year, there will be a documentary out. It's called "How the World Works," and basically it will build up to that, heavily promote that. Just want to make everyone aware in the YouTube universe. It's going to start small in the beginning. Not going to get much people, but over time, as the world gets a bit worse and the message is spread of this project, to get a lot of people together and just build our own economy again, because that's the only solution. So building a society where we do not need Chinese slave goods, we can build them, build our own equipment and stuff, and there will be a time when we can actually make our own clothes, make our own stuff, that we don't have to depend on Chinese slave goods. And if that becomes successful, then it kind of it can tackle globalization as a whole, because it's completely tragic what's happening with our our consumerist lifestyle. Even the camera I'm recording has been made by Chinese slave goods. Even the clothes I'm wearing right now is made by Chinese slaves. And to deal with that, we need to have a remedy, and the remedy is within us, because we have created the problem within ourselves in the first place with our indifference and our fragmentation. We don't really give a crap, really. So it's very important, ladies and gentlemen, to actually realise that to deal with all the problems, to deal with the whole problem holistically. And I've come to the realisation that you're not going to wake up 99% of the masses. So there's going to be like maybe 0.5%, maybe 1% of the population at most that will do something. And it's really the only way to do it. I cannot see any fight, violent revolution or protesting or going into politics to vote for a political party. It's not ever going to work. Even though I love the Tea Party, there's a lot of good people within the Tea Party, Patriot, Alex Jones and Ron Paul movement kind of thing. I just don't think it's going to work out because it's their system at the end of the day. Their system is designed for them. So heavily infiltrated, you just cannot go back personally. It might be, it might be a bit, pessimistic point of view, but I just don't think Ron Paul will win. Even people want him to, a lot of people want him to be, and I don't think they would actually let him be into power. He'll just get murdered, to be frankly honest, get murdered, or he'll just get shoved and ignored, they're going to shut him up some way and con him. So I don't think they'll do everything in their power to just let him go, to not put him into power, or if he does enter power, he's going to get shot, like, as we learned from JFK. Yeah, so, what the project, that's it from all my announcements with the Freedom Land project. It's going to be very exciting. It's all going to start from me for the first year or two, and hopefully people build it up over time, and then maybe in 10 years' time it's just already launched and buying, picking the land and just choosing that land and just build their own civilization, basically our own country. It'll be very exciting, and if it really works really well. I don't see when they can expand in other countries, even in the really bad countries. I don't know what's going to happen with this, but it's a remedy that I can only see at the moment. Maybe people have other interesting solutions, but I just see at this current time to just, build our own infrastructure of civilization, because we can govern ourselves at the end of the day. We don't need a system. We're just basically an extension of ourselves. The country that we live at the moment is basically the UK reflects with that 60 million people, reflects what the government as a whole is. So when people talk about raging against the machine, this system must go down, it's really talking about extension. Society is an extension of the government itself. So it's the government we have right now, even though they're very corrupt and the depleted uranium and the corruption that's happening there with our government, it's really reflected within us, with the people within us. There's no doubt about it. And to deal with that, you need to have a psychological revolution. In acted upon that, you need to do something about it, and that's the remedy I can only see. You can say, oh, just have a psychological revolution. Then you just, you go into work the next day and you're a 9-to-5 rat race and buying Chinese slave goods and having a shallow materialistic life as 99% of people are living today. So it needs to have has to be a radical revolution, the way we think and the way we perceive the world and how we can react to make the world a better place. This is what's different within the Freedom Land project of ideologies. It's not really ideology, it's just acting upon. It's like a building on fire, and what I'm recommending is putting water in the fire with common sense solutions such as interest-free money, building our own economy. Just giving money back to the people and not this corrupt system we have at the moment. And I will actually break it down much more in the future what that Freedom Land project is all about, because I think it's a really fantastic project, and I will do more announcements in the future and expand it in the near future, the Freedom Land project. So watch out for that. I'll do a visual, visual 15-minute talk about that. Now the next topic I'm going to talk about now is basically the London riots. Basically, what happened in London riots, it was predicted, to be honest. It was predicted by MLD government think tank document that says riots will happen in the near future. So it's not really a surprise, how bad it is, because as you can look down in centuries. You can really look it down from maybe the 60s, where basically the feminist revolution, which was funded by the CIA, just basically was there. They funded Gordon Stalinism, and basically they destroyed the nuclear family from there. But to be fair, at the time, at the time, that was a different time, different times, and that was about 50 years ago, and now it's repercussion, it's this cause and effect. Now we have broken down families. Now we have family courts, which is very pernicious and destroys the nuclear family, and even takes innocent children away, and they've been they go to much worse conditions, which is really appalling. So people need to put this into consideration, that society has been conditioned to another form of conditioning, which before the 60s was more religious, conservative conditioning, was more to another chaos prison called liberalism and cultural Marxism. So we went to another set of prison of conservatism and more with Christian values to more promiscuous, liberal, cultural Marxist values, also what I call it political correctness. I'm not really attached to any both worlds. I'm not conservative or liberal, so I'm not going to be and say, oh, society was so wonderful before the 60s, because it wasn't. Let's be frank. And it's very important to look at the corruption, that we very, very, not to be attached to any conclusions and ideologies and philosophies and gurus and saviors and religion at all, because you have to be very objective and see the problem very objective, and to watch it and to look at the problem at its very own. So we need, with the riots, it's just basically a responsibility within ourselves. We haven't taken responsibilities. We are all responsible for those riots, even though we didn't loot or purge in the streets. The government itself likes to loot and purge. Other countries, the British Empire has been doing it for hundreds of years. Raping the resources of other people's countries, and it's really contradiction in terms. It's very sad to hear what's happened, but it's just these kids are very very disenfranchised. Once they get disenfranchised with society, they kind of lost hope, because the economic situation, the government's graphic EMA, and parents not looking after their kids properly, instilling them good values, because the dads run away at the house, or the mom's a credit or drug addict, or various other factors. And we as a society we need to be very empathetic to deal with this problem, because it's a disenfranchised youth at the moment, and they're not being taken care of. It's their parent, it's all our fault not to engage our youth. It's very important to engage our youth and to raise them up properly to be good human beings, not good citizens. Because citizens is just a programmed robot, and they need to be good human beings at the end of the day, to know how to think, how to look at the world, and how to make themselves, to just be good, be good people that can be good for, treat people with respect and honor and respect, and just be aware of what's happening in society, to be aware of the history. And that's the thing, they don't get taught with that in school, in the Prussian school system. The Prussian school system is ultimately there to, make them a cog in the machine at the end of the day. So I just like to make that, Russian school system. I've run out of my 13-14 minutes now, so I just like to say, I probably will mention the Libya conflict maybe in the future time, but thanks for listening to me today. This is Christopher Ram. In the next few days, you're going to have an intro to the Internal History 101, and from next week that'll be a weekly series that I'll be punching in every week, and I'm going to do another presentation called Natural Law, which will be coming out this week sometime, and next week I have an introduction to the Freedom Land Project, and explain that more what it is. Okay, thanks for listening to me. I'm Christopher Ram. Hope you have a good day, and I'll hear from you. I'll hear from you soon. Thanks for listening to me. Goodbye.